Insane. This poor woman was killed by a speeding cop. She was just trying to go to church. She was just trying to park her parlay. Just going to church on a Sunday afternoon, just like a typical Christian, a good person does. Speeding cop kills black veteran while she was parking for church. Speeding cop killed black woman who was parking for church. Let's get to the video.
A woman just trying to go to church, okay? Just trying to go to church when a speeding police officer kills her as she's parking. And now the family of
This is not the first story we've done about a speeding cop. We did one about a week and a half ago about a cop from somewhere in Florida speeding and swerving, almost hitting a family.
A woman killed by the police officer is suing the city of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Speeding cop crashed and killed this black veteran, as we said, on her way to church. Here she is, U.S. Air Force vet Christine Harris, mother of 2 daughters. She was killed September 22nd, 2020. Beautiful woman, gone, just like that. 57-year-old was pulling into the Church of Christ parking lot in Fayetteville, North Carolina, when her car was hit. She was ejected from her white Honda minivan. She died at a nearby hospital. Just a brutal death.
Wow.
Relatives and their lawyers claim the police department willfully undermined the...
Hey, here's the thing, too. Do you know how fast this cop was going, too, when he hit this woman? This cop was going over 90 miles an hour. What? Yeah, that's right. 90 miles an hour. That's why she was ejected.
Justice system to protect the officer from prosecution. This
what's that called, ladies and gentlemen? Qualified immunity.
Police officer Jonathan Fambro crashed into this veteran's vehicle at 91 miles per hour.
91. Look at the aftermath of that.
50, according to Harris's family attorneys. He was taken to a nearby hospital for injuries, but never charged for his driving. Christine's husband, William Harris, wept openly at the press.
But that's crazy. He don't get charged or nothing. If we were to do that, you know what we get? What would we charged? We would be charged with vehicular manslaughter.
Conference announcing the wrongful death lawsuit for his wife. You see civil rights attorney Ben Crump by his side. Here's what the husband said. William Harris. I've been living with this over 2 years now, trying to understand why this has happened. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump, representing the Harris family, along with co-counsel Jason Burton. They've been down this road before. If anybody can handle it, it's them. Why does it seem, though, Ben, that every police officer is worthy of this kind of blue protective wall, no matter what?
That's the problem, too. This is what problem is what cops are protected by. Qualified immunity, diplomatic immunity, the thin blue wall, and under the thin blue line bullshit. If this cop really gets charged, he's going to be protected. Oh, no, he like that. This cop should be hold. This is why I have a huge problem with qualified immunity. When a cop does something wrong, like breaking the law, or does something more wrong, they should be held accountable. This should be called accountable. This is why there are cop watchers out there and First Amendment auditors. This is why people film the cops out there, holding them accountable when they do something wrong. It's called accountability and transparency.
Take any kind of, no toxicology tests to run, just routine stuff that if you had done that or I had done that,
yeah.
They draw some blood.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't just check us out for scrapes.
Yeah, they make us do the breathalyzer test. They draw some blood, make sure we're not drunk, or they check our eyes, make sure we're not high or not on drugs or anything like that.
Bruises. They want to know what was going on, what was so important. What is the policy? As a reporter for several decades at this point, you never can get police to tell you what their chase policy is. By the way, they kind of make it up as they go along.
Oh, yeah, that's what they do. It's called Cop Splitting 101.
For the community.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And it all goes to this notion of serve and protect. Because the important question is...
Yeah, more like serve, protect their own selves.
And what? right? And that
And
goes
the
back
fellow
once
brothers
again
were
to
in
the white
blue.
supremacist history of the United States of America. Because fundamentally, police were never put in place to serve and protect regular, everyday people.
Yeah,
They are
pretty
there
obvious.
to serve and protect the order, right?
Yeah.
Like they want to maintain order.
Yeah, or it's like this. They'll serve protect themselves, or their own partner. Yeah. And you got cops that they want to protect and maintain order, even if it calls for making arrest just to justify and maintaining peace and order.
But what order? What order,
What order,
exactly
exactly?
is that?
What order?
Right? That throughout the history of the United States always has been an order where queer folks, black and brown folks, poor folks are kept down, and rich, wealthy white folks are shielded. Right? That fundamentally is what happens, and that's why when you see protests, what police do is they'll do everything in their power to protect.
Well, here's the other thing too, as well. You ever notice like you get someone who's so rich who can get by the law and get off scot-free because you know why? Money buys power. Power trumps over law like that. That's why you get someone like a poor person gets arrested like that. They gotta go through like that, and usually they get fucked over by law because they don't have the money, they don't have the resources to go out there, hire a good attorney, to hire like a DNA forensic, like ballistics or anything like that, because they're too broke. That's why they try to find a law, but guess what? The evidence, like by the police, especially you got corrupt, lying police officer will say this and that. Well, guess what? Statistics are people are going to believe the word of a police officer versus a ordinary civilian. That's why when you're broke, you get fucked over by the law.
Private property while they're literally, firing tear gas into peaceful protesters, right? Like, that should be really all you need to understand, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what the policy is. It does not matter what the policy is. As long as police internally have the power to punish themselves or not punish themselves, then it doesn't matter. Then policy is irrelevant, right? Even places where high-speed chases have been banned because they don't make sense. Anybody that you would chase in a high-speed chase, you could find later with security cameras and tracking vehicles.
No,
right?
yeah, you got traffic cams.
Everywhere that they've been banned because innocent bystanders die
so
like this all the time. Except these policies only matter if it's willing to be enforced internally. But as we've seen with Richard Nixon's war on drugs and the subsequent huge increase in police funding, you see very, very clearly that it was stated explicitly by Nixon administration officials that the whole purpose was to target black and brown folks because they were perceived political opponents of Republicans and to wrongfully jail them, right? Because if we had a justice system that actually worked to protect society, right, police would be kicking down the doors of people doing wage theft, which way outweighs, larceny and burglary, right? And so, fundamentally, it just goes to the roots. And unfortunately, the Democratic Party is unwilling to challenge this because they want to play this game of we want to be fair and balanced. And to be real, right, if you've talked to city council members across the country, there's a significant chunk of them that come in wanting to do police reform, but literally get intimidated away from doing anything. There are quite literally city council members across this country who are afraid of our own police departments because the type of people that are actively
Why do you think people are calling for defunding the cops? Because people don't trust the police these days.
About, the same racist, unstable folks that are yelling at customer service workers,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. They could be in another segment on this show. Many of them, okay? It is just outlandish, and I do find frustration with the fact that it does seem now, shining a light, they're not embarrassed. They're gonna just wait it out. There'll be settlement, taxpayer dime. But the police aren't going to change here.
Nope.
They got to be forced to change. And you're so right about that.
And here's the thing as well, too, before we get out of here. People talk about reforming or retraining the cops. No. You don't reform and retrain bad cops. What you do is you replace them with good cops that want to go out there and serve and want to help the community out there, to catch the real bad guys in action out there. With that said, I'm out here, my job. Peace out.